My name is Leo, and I regrew my hair using a Sunetics low-level laser therapy. It was my son Hezekiah's first baseball game, and he was 5 years old. It was his very first at-bat, very first baseball that they pitched to him. He hits it right into left field, and he rounds the bases for an in-the-park home run. One of the proudest moments as a dad, right? And I remember when the game was over, I went over and I got down on a knee next to him and I took my cap off without thinking about it. And one of the other parents took a picture. And on my way home, I was driving home and I get a text message from that parent with the picture. And I remember looking down at the picture, and there I was in what should be one of the most memorable things in my life. And the only thing that I could focus on, the only thing that I could think about was how bald I was. It just happened to be a picture where I was leaning down, and just my first picture where I had a shiny head. And I deleted that picture, and I went through this period of time where for maybe a week or two, all I did was go through every picture on every phone, on every computer, on every camera, and delete anything that remotely showed a bald spot. And it was a very tough time in my life. I felt like I had turned the corner into this part of my life that I wasn't ready to live yet. And I was overwhelmed with guilt that I destroyed a memory because I didn't want to look bald. After it had become clear to me that I really did have an issue with losing my hair, the first thing I did was try to replace some nutrients and some vitamins. So I went out to my local supplement store and I bought myself vitamin E and folic acid and anything else that I Googled that people said would help you grow your hair back. And obviously that didn't work. And so the next thing that I tried was I went to the grocery store and I picked up some minoxidil, which is the foam, and I started putting that on my head. And I tried that for a couple of weeks, and A, I wasn't very good at keeping up with it, and B, it really wasn't working for me. As a matter of fact, it agitated my scalp and it gave me like a rash on top of my head. And so I had to discontinue using that. The next thing I did was I followed the instructions on an infomercial, and I called and I asked for some information to be sent to me. And I went through the whole course of considering, am I a candidate for a hair transplant? And first of all, they're extremely expensive. It turned out to be a $7,000 or $8,000 I didn't have. And on top of that, I was told that I was too young to do a hair transplant. And so I just had this general feeling of desperation. Like there was nothing that anybody was gonna do to help me. And through a weird and absolutely incredible series of events, I was introduced to the owner of Sunetics. And I remember I went up to him in the parking lot at church, and I said, John, I probably wore a baseball cap every day, any opportunity that I could. But I said, John, I'm losing my hair, and somebody told me that you might have something that could help me. And I remember I took my cap off, and he said, come over here, let me take a look at your head. And he ran his fingers through the top of my scalp, and he said, I still had a little bit of irritation from some topical solution I had tried. And he said, what's this? And I said, it's just I'm allergic to whatever I tried to put on my head. And he said, you're gonna have to take a couple of weeks, don't put anything on it. And he said, I'm not a doctor, so I can't guarantee you results. But I'll never forget what he told me. He said these words. He said, there's a lot of hope for your hair. And he gave me his number, and he said, give me a call, and we'll get you on a protocol, and we'll see if we can regrow your hair. And for the first time in 2 years, I just was overwhelmed with the idea of thinking that there was some hope for me. 2 days later, we were starting my first protocol, and within 2 weeks, I really had convinced myself that my hair was gonna grow. I would rub it and massage my scalp every day, hoping that would help in some way. And sure enough, probably about 4 weeks into it, I started realizing that my hair had stopped falling out. And looking back at it, if that was the best result I got, just the fact that my hair stopped falling out, I would have been extremely happy. That would have been enough to, to deem this a success. But maybe 3, maybe 4 weeks later, I started realizing that the hair was growing back. And so I decided to grow my hair out. My hair grows very fast, so within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I had a full set of hair. And the bald spots were gone. The hair in the back of my head had come in. And I want to say at the very, very latest, by week 12, it was like I'd never lost my hair. I mean, it just completely grew back. And I've been real happy ever since. I couldn't be happier with the Sunetics low-level laser light therapy. It really works.